Hello guys, Dovska and welcome to yet another tutorial video. It has been some time, but this time I have something very special for you guys. I think I really cracked the code here regarding how to actually make custom coat of arms in Crusader Kings III. It is a bit more complicated than one would imagine, but it is very much doable. So, without further ado, let's get into it. So, first of all, you want this beautiful picture right here. It should be available in the description right down below, and its primary use is to act as sort of the template for which we actually create our coat of arms. Besides the picture, you also want Paint.net, which we're currently using, which is a free program to basically edit your photos and stuff. And besides that, you also want Notepad++, which is also a free software. So before we start this off, I just wanna go ahead and answer some questions that I imagine some of you might have. Yes, you can change any type of coat of arms in game. That means your Dynastic coat of arms, your Realms coat of arms, your Houses coat of arms, all that good stuff. But it is unfortunately not Iron Man enabled, because you're gonna do some save game editing and you can only save game edit games that are not on Iron Man, that are not encrypted, which is unfortunate in one way, but there are some neat possibilities because of that. So because you're editing the save game this time around without doing any modding, that means that if you were to host a multiplayer game, then all people in that session would see the coat of arms without having to install any mods. It's simply stored in the save game. So that opens up for some neat possibilities, I imagine. But anyhow, let's get into it. So the first thing you want to do is to simply find what sort of different emblems you want to use for your coat of arms. So to do that, you basically just want to enter into your Steam folder, into your Crusader Kings III folder, and right here just gonna enter your game folder, your GFX folder, your coat of arms folder, and here you are. So for a starter, you might want to get a nice background. So we have a couple of options here. Usually I just like going for the pattern solid. I like adding stuff on top. But you could, for example, choose a cross or whatever, or a TTT, whatever that is. So just for the sake of example, we're gonna actually take two of them. I'm gonna use the pattern solid for my coat of arms. But I'm gonna take this with me as well, and then you're just gonna upload them to Paint.net. And when we have done that, you're gonna wanna go into colored emblems. So here is where the magic's at. So here you got all different types of emblems, all of them used in games. As you can see, we have like this Zoroastrian emblem, the Rook, whatever that is. We also got the Futark, the alphabet, and different, all different sort of cool stuff that's already used in game. So, as you may notice, all of these are blue or green. That's not because that's how they are displayed in game. Basically, that's just, you could view it as like a green screen. It's the color that it has that will be replaced by the color that we choose later on. But for now, I'm just gonna pick, where do we have it? I wanna pick one of these Flor de Lis, this one, Flor Florence. We're gonna grab that here. And then I also wanna grab a Laurel. Let's see if we can find one. Here we go. Beautiful. And then, just to spice it up, let's add one more thing. Could a lion something? I want to add something cool. I want to make it a cool little coat of arms. Something you're proud to have as your country's coat of arms. Oh, the Crown of Lombardy. That would be awesome. Great. So there we go. So now we got all our items. So the first thing you want to do is to resize all layers to 512. I'm gonna make sure most of them are, some are not. We don't have to do for the pattern, we can just use the paint bucket, but for this one we're also gonna resize it to 512. So there we go, and now it's just all we have to do is to basically paste them into our template here. So let's say we take this one, we're gonna add a new layer, simply paste it in, and then we want to enter the layers tab here. I'm going to rotate, zoom, and here you're gonna want to type in 0.5 for the x-axis, and for the y-axis we're also gonna type 0.5. And for the zoom it should be 100. It wasn't, but it will be 100 when you start off. And there you can see it has covered like the workable area. So yeah, and from here we can basically use the color table that I have put forward here to color our background however we choose. I'm not though. I just want myself a nice white background, which I already gotten. And then once that's done, we can start importing the rest of our emblems. We're gonna add new layers as well, and we're just gonna do the same way, the same fashion as we did previously. However, one thing may occur to you now. You see they're both in the same area, which is unfortunate. So one would think that just using the zoom function here to scale them down would do the trick. And it does, but we really want to maintain this number here, because that is gonna be quite crucial later on when we're gonna actually export this info into the script. So instead what we're gonna do is basically remove these two, and then we're gonna do the zooming on the individual images. So let's say we got the image here, we want to make it smaller. So what I would do then is basically use the zoom function here, and then we want to keep this number in mind. 0.5 is our current scale. It's still gonna be here, but we're gonna name it 0.5 just so we don't forget. So there we go. And also while we're at it, I do want to recolor it. So we could go ahead and use the paint bucket if we want to simply do simple recoloring, but I actually prefer to go into adjustments and use the hue here to get the actual color that we're gonna use, because it allows us to actually see the different shades that are sort of intrinsic to the emblem already. So example, we already got a red here, so that's basically how it's gonna look in game. So I'm just gonna grab it like that, and then we're gonna copy it. And now by getting it, by applying the new numbers, we're also gonna get the zoom back to 1, 0.5, 0.5. We will get it right in the middle. Great, and then we want to add the Laurel. And we're gonna do the same here with the hue saturation. Then we're just gonna add 0.5, 0.5 again. It will add them automatically. And that's somewhat good. I actually want to move the Laurel a bit. Or not the Laurel, the fleur-de-lis. I want to move it upwards. So I'm actually gonna remove it once again. There's a lot of fine-tuning here. But we're doing it now so that we don't have to do it every time we restart the game. That is basically the function of this thing right here. So this was the x-axis and this was the y-axis. So by moving this down, we'll actually get the fleur-de-lis to move up, which we want. That seems good to me. And then finally the cross, the iron cross. Now we actually, not iron cross, the iron crown. I'm good at knowing things. So now we're actually want to use the bucket tool, because there are some shading elements But I wanna see if I were to color this in as, I suppose it's jello green, if I remember correctly. Let's see, jello green. Then this part here would be jello, right? And this here would be green, somewhat. Something like that. We'll keep it like that for now. Okay, cool. Also wanna zoom it out a bit. It's way too large right now. So I suppose like 1.1, 0.1 would be a decent size. Yeah, that seems good to me. So it's just gonna be a really minor detail. I'm not even sure if it's gonna be visible in game. But we'll see, we'll see. So 0.5 and 0.5 here as well. That should get it in the middle there. Then we wanna move it up. So 0.2, what would be nice? I guess that could be doable. 0.23. Okay, cool. So now that we finally have this beauty right here, how do we go about importing it into the game? Well, the answer is simple: scripting. So along with picture, you should have gotten yourselves a little notepad document. So I suggest you open it about right now, and I'll show you just how to go about getting this into your game. So here we go. Right here we have my document, so I'm just gonna show you how I would go about doing this. So first of all, the structure is pretty simple. Let me just do one basic explanation. So basically here you have your background pattern solid, which means that it's a solid pattern. The color of the pattern, this one is the only one that actually means anything right now because it's a solid pattern. But if we were to use something with multiple colors, this second one would actually change the second color, and since we have 3 colors here, it would just change the first 2. The last one would remain white, as far as my understanding goes. So yeah. So let's go ahead and change this to white, because that is the color we're using. The second color doesn't matter, we'll keep it blue. So our colored emblem. So the way this works is that we'll lay this first emblem on the bottom layer, and then all the rest will be added on top of it. Now, none of my emblems interact with one another, so it doesn't really matter, but if you were to say have the fleur-de-lis be right above the laurel, then you would want to have the fleur-de-lis as far down as possible in the script. But since it doesn't matter now, we can just do it whichever way we want. But we do need to get the right texture. So an easy way to do that is to simply go into our image, and here we can see floor Florence. So we're simply just gonna type that in. floor Florence. We're also gonna change the color. We must not forget that, very important. Red. The position is important, and so is the scale. So let's see, the scale we used for this one was 110, if I remember correctly. No, 0.5 is what we have written here. Let's see if we... So now we want to import the scale, and that is where our notes here actually matter, 0.5. So basically we just want to increase the scale here by 0.5 on each and every one of these 2 scale thingies. 0.5. Then we're gonna have we want to have 6 numbers. We have 6 there, good. So this is basically the scale for the X and Y axis. So if you were to actually do a minus here, that would actually invert the emblem. But since the emblem is But since the emblem is symmetrical, it won't really make any difference right now. So there we go. Scale 0.5, 0.5. Now I just want to redo this here. I forgot to actually write down the way we put it, just to be sure that we get things right. I think it's 0.5. But we'll just make a check here. Let's see. Where did we actually put it? No, 0.5048. Okay, cool. So let's see here. Then it should actually be position. This is X, 0.5, 0.48. Cool. It's actually on the right place. Awesome. Okay, we're actually gonna have 3 emblems, so we're just gonna make a copy here. I'm doing this a bit ahead of time, but sure, why not? And yeah, so now we want to add a Laurel, basically the same procedure as last time. clorel.tds. We want to make a copy of it as well. This one is the right size, but it should be red. Let's see, was it just Laurel? Yeah, it was just Laurel. Cool. Okay, just gonna do a bit of a redaction here. I just noticed that I typed this wrong. It's Laurels, not Laurel. Okay, make sure to type your stuff correctly into the game. So scale should be simply 1. The position, however, is 0.5 and 0.5, I think. Let's see if we paste this bad boy into the thingy. I think it was, yes, 0.5, 0.5. Cool. And then for our final object, the Lombard crown. Crown, C crown Lombard, okay. C crown Lombard. Let's remove this guardant part. Color 1 is yellow, color 2 is green. Let's type that into this script here. And let's see the position. Wait, starting off, how small is it? Let's actually redo this one. I can't quite remember how small it is. Okay, so let's compare them. 110, I think. 0.10. Is that right? I think it's 0.10. 0.10. No, that's not how you write that. That didn't actually make any difference. Okay, well, we'll do it by hand then. Yeah, 0.10. Okay, cool. Scale 0.10. 0.10. Great, and then we want to get the position. So 0.5, since it's right down the middle. And this one is the interesting one. 0.23, okay. Interesting, sure. That's scale, that's not the one we wanna mess around with. There we go, 0.23. Okay, so cool. So now we actually have our coat of arms here. Awesome. So what we want to do now is to actually enter this into our save game. So to do that, you want to enter your Crusader Kings III folder, which should be in Documents, like the one right here. This is where all your save games and your screenshots are stored. So by entering here, we should see some save games. So just for example, we're gonna take this Dux Niketheros of Epirus file, and we want to open it with 7-zip. And we want to drag out the game state. I already have one, but I'm just going to replace it. And here we just want to edit it with Notepad. So here comes one of the more trickier parts of this. To actually find the title that we want to change for, or the dynasty. So this is a bit tricky. There's a lot of different scripts detailing everything in the game. From all different characters to all different holdings. And all the coat of arms for each and every one of them. But one easy way to find them is to use basically the name of the title. This is useful if you know what the title is called. They're not always called what they're called in game. So we're gonna do a search for the Kingdom of Italy here. K/Italy, not slash. But you get it, what I do? Okay. So key, Kingdom of Italy. So here we have the basic save game information about the Kingdom of Italy. So we have the name, the objective, history, and then we have the most important thing here, the coat of arms ID. So we want to copy that, and then we want to scroll down all the way to the bottom. Not really to the bottom, but right here. As you may have noticed, what the script you're seeing here is actually the same type of script that we use to change our coat of arms. So what we want to do now is to search for our kingdom title, or our ID 794. And we want to make sure that match whole word only is checked, allowing us to find this one instantly. Then we're gonna go upwards, because going down would only make us redo the document. So here we go. Here we have Italy. Pattern, vertical split, ordinary thin set. It's kind of a complicated coat of arms because it has that eagle thing. But yeah, cool. Okay, then we're just gonna copy our example file, and then we'll do a simple paste. Let's see here. I want to make sure to not go into the next coat of arms, so we're just gonna copy it all the way to this bracket here. There we go. Everything seems to be in order. And just for example, I want to show you also how to find dynasty coat of arms. So it's not that hard either. It's basically the same procedure, because the coat of arms are all stored in these IDs, no matter if it's a realm coat of arms or a dynasty coat of arms. But to find them, you would have to find the character which currently holds the title. Or just find a character which is like part of the dynasty. Okay, so for example here, if we want to find, let's say, William the Conqueror, we would just type William. Then we would have to make sure. Okay, here we go. That wasn't too hard. Nickname the Beautiful. No, that's the wrong one. We want to get the Bastard. So basically we're just gonna... There we go. There it was. The Bastard. Cool. We got the Dynasty House, which is this one, apparently. We're gonna... Adelaide, Hugh, Council, okay. So now we want to find the dynasty. So we're gonna go down until we start seeing things related to dynasties. These are counties. I think they're higher up, actually. Here we go. Here we have dynasties. So we're gonna go up. And yes, that should be the Normandy dynasty. And then its coat of arms is 744. We're gonna go down here again. Let's see. And we'll type in 744. Find next. Pattern solid leopard peasant quadrant. Yes, so this is the Normandy of coat of arms. So just for example, we're just gonna replace this with the same previous one. So we're gonna copy it here as well. And boom. Cool. So once you have done that, all you want to do is to open up your save game once more. So make sure to close down, send zip. Then we're gonna delete the game state and replace it with our new game state. I would also recommend to do a backup of your save game before you try this, because there is a chance that you can corrupt the game if you do something silly in the file. Just a fair warning. But that should be about it. So let's go into Crusader Kings III and we'll see if this has actually worked out. So, with all that said and done, did this actually work? Well, let's take a look. Would you look at that? It actually did. Amazing. And it looks nice. I'm not sure if this is befitting of the Normans, but you know what? With a coat of arms like that, I don't think it matters. Okay, with all that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I hope you can learn something from it, and I hope that you'll make some cool coat of arms yourself. So yeah, with all that said, you guys have a great day, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.